Many of you have bright ideas like getting engaged, getting married, having kids before you've had a chance to know what life is about, before you've had a chance to experience it all. And if you don't care about that, before your girlfriend or wife has had a chance to experience it all. It reminds me of something I want to say to you boys who are anywhere between 17 and 22 years old. It's hard to see the future. I know that because I could not see the future when I was 17, 18 years old. When I was 16, I left home. When I was 17, I was the youngest student at Fordham University. I managed to get in and used my early entry into Fordham University as my excuse for leaving home. My parents wouldn't help me in school, and I got every scholarship I could get, and these were all, $500 and $1,000 scholarships. Fordham University at the time cost about $25,000 a year. Got every grant I could apply for. I'm not a member of any significant minority. And I got 4 years of student loans. I borrowed the absolute maximum I could and ended up spending it all in a year and a half. And I wasn't spending it partying. I wasn't spending it on drugs or booze. That was just strictly spending it on my daily expenses. Tuition, rent, books, basics. And in my second year of college, when I was just about broke, and I thought I was going to have to drop out of college, with my limited vision of life, I believed that I was because I was not going to graduate college, I was not going to be able to be successful at anything. I thought I would be lucky to get an average job and make an average paycheck, and therefore maybe have an average life like my parents did. My parents, who were married all the way till my dad died. My dad was married from age 23 until he died 40 years later. That's all I thought I would ever accomplish in life. I had been told by people in the radio business, go to school, get a degree, this is important, you need to get it. And I was under the impression that if I did not get a degree, I could not be successful. I also had a meeting I've discussed with you on the radio with a program director, a guy named Dennis Moore, who was at a radio station named WGLI in Babylon, Long Island. Dennis clearly thought he could see the future. Told me I had a lousy voice, a heavy accent, a speech impediment, and that I should consider another line of work because I wasn't going to succeed in radio. And I believed him. After spending a couple of days wanting to slip my wrists, I believed him. And so when you combine the fact that I could not afford to finish college and the fact that I'd been told by a guy employed in the radio business that I would never succeed, I decided that I would do the next best thing. I would get married and be happy. Fortunately, I didn't want to have children because that really would have dug my grave in any number of ways. But I could not see the future. When I was 22, 23, 24, and I was spinning my wheels trying to get into this business. My marriage ended because my wife at the time decided she wanted to have kids, and I knew I couldn't do that. I continued spinning my wheels. I'll never forget when I was 23, I had a job at Citibank, answering the 800 number. Ever get your Visa card at the end of the month and it says, if you have questions about your bill, call this number, 1-800, whatever the number is. I was one of the people who picked up the phone. I was at the call center before it moved to South Dakota or wherever it is now, or India, whatever. And there I was answering questions about people's APRs, about duplicate charges on their Visa bill. And at that point in my life, I thought that I had reached the apex, like this was as good as it was going to get. And I did a lot of things at the time that in hindsight appear to be self-destructive. You know, just kind of wasted valuable time in my life. Didn't travel at a time in my life when I should have been earning money and traveling. Didn't find alternative solutions like if I can't get a degree, try to learn this business the hard way by traveling to different cities around the country, living in small towns, developing an act. I didn't really have a mentor to help me out how to do this. I couldn't see the future. I had no idea what was ahead of me. I had no idea how good things would get, how good things could get. If only I didn't anchor myself down and give myself a big hole to dig myself out of. Wife, children, money, bills, finance charges, mortgages. Hell, I didn't own a house till I was almost 30. And at that, it was a small house that I bought for $60,000 in Phoenix, Arizona. When I lived in Miami, I didn't own a house. When I lived in Albany, New York, didn't own a house. Stanton, Virginia, couldn't even dream of affording a house. When I got to Phoenix and I saw $60,000 a year for the first time in my life, I bought my first house. And it was worth 1 year's salary, $60,000. Couldn't imagine buying a $150,000 house, much less a $2.5 million house like I have now. When you're 18, 19, 20, even 17, many times it seems that you've done as well as you're going to do. Like the best you can hope for is just to have a nice girl, and even if she's nagging you or telling you what to do all the time or wears the pants in the family, that's okay with you, because that's what you grew up seeing your mom do to your dad, or you just figure, you know, I'm a loser, this is all I deserve, this is all I am. But I want to tell you that you can't predict what's going to happen to you, especially if you're a man. Life gets better. You meet people. You have lucky experiences. If you work hard, you start seeing the fruits of your labor. If you told me at age 25 that I would be a millionaire, in other words, that I would have $1 million in net worth, I'd have been thrilled to hear it, but I would hardly believe it. And then if you told me I would be a multimillionaire, I'd have laughed my ass off. I never thought that would happen. There was a point in my life where I said, if I had $1 million, I could quit, I could retire. Just live on that. Now, if I had $1 million, I would feel like I was practically bankrupt. That's true. What I'm telling you, boys, is when you tell me I don't need a prenup because I don't have anything, what you're saying is I'll never be anything. This is as good as I'm ever going to get. Essentially, I give up. And at 18, you can't say that. At 19, 20, you don't know. You don't know. What I'm telling you, boys, is not to have all these obligations at a young age that you don't understand. Even if you can't see the success you could have in the future, live your life like you are going to be successful.